No, I agree.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. And you guys are welcome to leave your cameras on if you'd like. You can leave them off. It is totally up to you. And I'm not sure if you saw the chat before we got started. I just said if you guys have questions already brewing in your minds about film festivals, go ahead and drop those in the comments now. Otherwise, feel free at any time during the session tonight to put your questions as applicable in the chat box, and I'll try to make sure I cover everybody's the best I can. All right, we have one more person coming in from the waiting room, it looks like. So I'll wait till she gets in here. Oh, all right, it looks like she is here. All righty. Well, welcome. I'm going to go ahead and pray and just get us started, and then ask that we would have a blessed time and that God would have his hand on the information this evening and that it would bless you guys. Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to say thank you for this time. Thank you for each one of these folks. Thank you for their desire to use their talents for your glory. I'd ask that you would just speak through me and touch their hearts with the things that they need to know and the things that they need to hear. Please speak through me and give them a special blessing tonight for taking their time out to spend this Friday evening with us. Bless their desires to attend a film festival in the future, and please show them exactly which one that you would have them be at. We know that you work all things together for good when we love you and are called according to your purpose. So we thank you that you are in the details, and we ask that you just do what you do and lead us step by step. And we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All righty. So we've got everybody out of the waiting room, it looks like. Lovely. All right. So as we get started, I would love to know, show of hands or turn your mic off and just holler out if you want. How many of you guys have actually been to a film festival before? Okay, Donna, I saw you sign in and I thought she's been there. I met her at a film festival, actually. Okay, so how many? Keep your hands raised so I can look through everybody real quick. Oh, good. Okay. Wonderful. All right, I don't see everybody, but okay, so it looks like from what I can see about half and half. So I made myself some notes, and just so you guys kind of know where we're going with this, my notes say who goes to a film festival, what happens there, where do you find them, how to attend, where to stay, and how to get discounts. So that's what we're going to cover. So who goes to a film festival? So many people think it's just the filmmakers, and it's absolutely not. Film festivals are created for any single person who is involved in any way in this film industry, whether you are cast, crew, if you are production, if you are the director, if you are the actor, it is everything in between. If you enjoy this industry and you want to know the folks who are making movies and making these things happen, then you go to a film festival. If you're a filmmaker who wants their films to be recognized and potentially awarded, then you want to be there at the festival. And so a lot of folks don't understand about distribution. When someone makes a movie, it doesn't just go right to Walmart. It doesn't just go automatically right to the theaters. So when you guys see on the front of a movie, like a DVD, I can't believe it. DVD is starting to sound like, like 8-track stuff. But when you see a DVD, it's got all of those little laurels around it. And those are like the crown of laurel leaves, right? That go around, and it'll say best actress, or it'll say best screenplay or best feature film. So a filmmaker will take their film before it's released to the public, and they will send it through the film festivals. We often call it the film festival circuit. That's what I call it. I don't know if other people do. I call it the circuit. So they will say, so example, Donna, I think you had a film about pets, right? If I remember. Okay, I'm digging way back in the memory. What's that? Oh, you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, I said you're amazing. That's an amazing memory, because that was before COVID.
Well, I remember you. So awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I try really hard. I don't remember everybody, but I try really, I guess I don't know that I've ever forgotten anybody. So I try really hard not to, but if I ever did, please forgive me. I'm usually traveling with about 14 of my kids. Donna knows I'm only exaggerating slightly. I do have 8 kids, and most of them typically do attend the film festivals with me. Now, some film festivals it's a little easier to navigate with children, and some there's not. So if you guys have questions about that, if you're a family person, let's chat about that. And if not, then I won't worry about it if you guys would be attending alone. But a filmmaker will take their film to festivals to get feedback. And if they win awards, then that will help them with the distribution process. So let's just say Jerry, I'm going to pick on Jerry because I like to. Let's say Jerry wrote a film, right? And it was called The Forever Sky. I don't know why. I just picked it. So Jerry writes a film, The Forever Sky, and he wants to get it distributed. But first, he's going to send it to all these different festivals. And the first thing that happens when he submits it is they are going to decide whether or not it is a selection. I think it's selection first. And then if it is a selection, that means that it will screen at the festival. I'm throwing a lot of terms out there. If I say something, you're guys like, what does that mean? Then please ask me. But if you screen a film, it means that they will show your film while the festival is going on. So the first thing that a filmmaker would hear back is that they were selected. That's all it means, is they will be shown at the festival. Now, if they are nominated, it means it's another step up that your film is nominated for a specific category. This is where actors come in, because a filmmaker is going to be very excited that their film was nominated. But if they have a nomination for Best Actress, guess who they're going to tell? They're going to tell their actress, and then the actress is going to go, oh, I'm up for an award at that festival. Okay, I want to be there. So that's one example of how an actor would be directly drawn to a particular festival. But that doesn't mean that you have to be up for any award or that you have to be in any of the films that are showing. In fact, most of the time, I'm not speaking and I don't have a film there, but most of the time when I go, even though I'm not representing any particular project, I'm there for the networking. You guys have all heard, right, that this business is all about networking, and it's all about who you know. I'm going to put a capital W on that. It's all about who you know. I don't say that lightly because our steps are ordered by the Lord, but it is very, very helpful if we can put ourselves in those places where these films are happening, where they're being shown, where folks are getting awarded. You can see who some of the most awarded directors are, some of the most awarded actors, some of the best writers, right? All of those things are going to happen at the festival. Now, back to Jerry, let's say Forever Sky just sweeps awards, sweeps it. And at the awards show at the end of the week, he's just getting called up there for everything. Best screenplay, Audience Choice Award, Best Lead Actor, Best Supporting Actress. He's just getting all kinds of awards. He had an awesome cast. And so then he will be able to take that to the distributors and say, hey, check it out. And then you'll notice some films don't have any of those laurels on the front, and other ones, it seems like almost the whole DVD case is outlined by them, right? Well, that means that it went through a slew of festivals, and everywhere it went, folks loved it. Well, a distributor loves a proven track record. So if the distributor, which could be Netflix, Amazon Prime, oops, sorry, I'm letting some more folks in real quick. I'm not fancy enough yet to have an assistant to let everybody in. So excuse me while I go let folks in and then come back. So a distributor can be anybody like PureFlix, or if you go straight to DVD, then it might be Walmart or, etc. So what we're going to do is have all of these films playing, but then in addition to all the films that are being screened there, you'll also have workshops. Those are going to pertain to actors, to casting directors, to producers, to distributors, to basically anything that you can think of. Remember, I said anybody who's involved in any way. So they really do a great job of trying to host workshops that apply to all of you guys in some way. Now, if we have, okay, so what happens? That was my next question. What happens is all of these workshops and all of these networking events, and a lot of times you have the chance to meet and eat with folks. They'll schedule networking lunches where you just go sit at tables with all these folks, and you kind of want to go watch people's movies and see who's making what, to see who's producing the content that you as actors want to be in. I would imagine that most of you guys are actors. Is that correct? Raise your hand if you're an actor. That is almost everybody. Okay, so Reba, I'm curious, what do you do? Oh, she can't.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
I can.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. I do a little bit of acting, but I'm a writer.
Wonderful. Okay. So
Yeah,
you
and I do wardrobe and costume design. I also do production assistant, and I can run a camera. So
look at you. Okay, so that is amazing. And were you aware of the fact, you probably are, but I'll just say this for everybody else, that as a writer for your screenplays, you can submit unproduced scripts and you can get your scripts awarded so that when you have filmmakers that want to potentially produce your project or when you're ready to get it produced, you can go, hey, look, this thing has been through the circuit and it's picking up audience choice at every single festival it goes to. Then a director is going to go, oh yeah, then I would love to direct your film. Otherwise, if it's untested, if it's unproven, then it's really a gamble on whether or not somebody they just want to know how is this going to resonate with audiences. The film festivals allow you to get real feedback on that. Now, other than classes and screenings, you also have a lot of really cool time just in the hallways. I don't know if anybody can attest to that, but Donna, that's where she and I met. I'm just picking on her because she's right by me on my screen. She and I just met standing next to each other at at booths. They always have informational booths. So you'll see distributors, often like PureFlix there. You will see folks selling books. You'll see folks selling their movies. You will see folks selling t-shirts, all kinds of movie related things. And Donna and I just ended up standing next to each other in line, at a couple of tables. And so we struck up a conversation. So hallway conversations are one of my favorite things. And that's why I feel so passionate about attending film festivals, because it's not necessarily who had the best workshops. It's not necessarily who screened the coolest films. And that's awesome. It's not even about who had the most anointed prayer room, because a lot of them do have a prayer team with a prayer room. A lot of them have worship, at the beginning of every day, or they do it to recap every night. To me, it's not even as much about that as it is just the overall experience, because God told me to be there, because God said, yes. Oh, did
Just
somebody?
before you, sorry,
Yeah.
it's me, Jan.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just going back to the point you made earlier when you were talking about scripts and screenplays.
Mhm.
The film that I'm auditioning for on Thursday is not a film yet, but he's already won numerous awards for the screenplay.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about what you said. So
Yes. And so that means that he put it through a slew of festivals, or he did one and it just did really great there. But it's a really, really wonderful thing to connect all of us. And so if you guys get to the end of tonight and you're like, man, I want to go to a film festival, or man, it's been a while, I need to get back. Maybe COVID happened and a lot of them did shut down. A lot of them went virtual. I don't know if you guys attended any virtual events. They're great for what they are, but it's nothing like being there in person. Nothing like it. So prayerfully start now and say, Lord, if you want me at any one of these, please show me. Please compel me forward, despite all my questions, despite my concerns about finances, despite all of my worries about not feeling like I belong there. Lord, if you want me there, please start stirring that in my heart and let me trust that you will put that path out before me, that I will take those steps that I need to. Now, so the next question was, where do you find film festivals? I'm so glad you asked, because I just updated the Room 4 app. Y'all, I'm going to start talking about that all the time because it is my baby child. You know that, right? Okay, so Room 4, if you guys have it on your phones, can you see? Okay, so the Room 4 app, download links are on christiancasting.com. christiancasting.com for both Apple and Android. Apple, it's not an official app yet because Apple are stinkers, and I could tell you all the reasons why, but they're not ready to approve the app yet. Google Play Store did. So we're officially in the Android Google Play Store. You can just search Room 4 and you'll find it. The Apple Store has made clear their expectations of us, and we're not quite yet ready to oblige. So that's why we're not official on the App Store, but they will have you download an app called Test Flight, which means you can test apps that have not yet been released. And then after you load Test Flight, go back to christiancasting.com and hit that download link for Apple. Now, if you are on there, you will see that there is a button called Resources right there in the middle. Now, when I click on Resources, I have all kinds of things here, right? I have casting tools, I have film festivals, about Christian casting, education, coaching, all kinds of stuff. If I type on film festivals, y'all look at all these festivals I have loaded for you on here. Every single one of them has a link to the festival. It has the dates of either their last or their upcoming festival. And I just updated this about 2 weeks ago. It has photos. It has links to their Facebook pages if there is one. Oop, gotta let somebody else in. All kinds of stuff. And it's not just festivals here in the US. It is internationally all the Christian film festivals happening all over the world. So anyway, see, I'm still scrolling. I've worked really, really hard on that for you guys. And here's why. Because about 4 years ago, I thought, why doesn't somebody put a list of Christian film festivals all in one place? I want to know, where are all of them happening? Because then I can figure out which one I want to go to. And then I waited 6 months and I'm like, I really wish somebody would put together a list of Christian film festivals. 6 months later, I wish somebody would. And at that point, the Holy Spirit's like, and you're waiting for what? I'm like, well, lady with the 7 kids over here is a little busy. Do you have anybody with, I don't know, 2.5 children, maybe, that could come up with a list of all the film festivals? And no, the answer to that was no. So I did compile one because it's something I always felt would have been so helpful to me. And I thought, well, instead I'll do the work and make it available to all of you. So yes, I will put the link in the chat. So that is www.christiancasting.com. And it should be right there on the home screen. Also, you can go to christiancasting.com/room4. And there's also a little bit more information. So the app that we have right now is just a teaser version of what it's going to be when it's fully produced. We have raised $17,000 out of $50,000. We are thrilled to have this beta version available, and it is only just a glimpse of what is to come. So if you guys are curious what the app is supposed to be later on, it's actually going to be a competitor to, like, for the faith-based film world, Actors Access, Backstage, Casting Networks, Facebook, LinkedIn. It is going to be this interactive social media directory of the Christian film world. It'll be, if you guys are familiar with C.S. Lewis, to me, this is in my mind, it'll be like stepping through the wardrobe into the Narnia of the Christian film world. And everywhere you look is just everything Christian film. It's where are the festivals? What are the new Christian films coming out? Where are the production companies? Who's doing what? Where are the casting notices? We're actually going to have full-fledged casting system built into it, just like Actors Access. And so you will be able to build a profile there, upload your resume, and submit for projects right through the app. It is going to be pretty stinking awesome. And I'm really hoping that it revolutionizes our faith-based industry and gets us connected more than we have been before. It's always bothered me that it feels like Christian filmmakers are always lacking and struggling. And I thought, Lord, we should be the most equipped people in the world because we have a Father who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. So what's going on? And I just felt like the Spirit kind of whispered, well, you know, this one's doing a good job over here, as, you know, if we think of the body of Christ, like there's an ankle over here and there's a toe over here. And this indie filmmaker is like the knuckle over there, all very important, but only doing what they can do in their own strength, you know, with their own abilities. And that verse in Acts that says that none of them had need because they shared what they had. That has gone over in my mind so many times. And I don't think that we as Christian actors, filmmakers, writers, I don't know that we necessarily need to have the money that Hollywood has. I think we need to be able to exchange resources the way the church in Acts did. And if we could do that, then let's say you are a Christian restaurant owner and there's a Christian film coming to town. I would love for you to say, hey, I would love to cater films. That's what I could do. I would love for the person who has a horse barn to be able to enter their location and say, hey, guys, if you're in Kansas and you need to film at a horse barn, don't worry about the paperwork, the legal city permits, like all. I would love to have you come film here. A church office, a dental office, a chiropractor clinic, all of these things that are always needs, that are costs, they are, you know, paperwork, they are time. If we could get all of that in and we all can just say, this is what I have to offer, and everybody pours in, I feel like there would be no lack in all of us pulling back out. So that's my That is my heart behind the Room 4 app. And one of the resources in there, and part of why I feel so passionately about film festivals, is because that's what God has used to help me get connected with most of the folks that I've been connected with, is at film festivals. So take it or leave it. But if you're here, I think you're at least interested. So I'm excited. Now, where do you find them? Just covered that. How to attend. Y'all click the link, go to their website. There should be a direct link taking you right there. And in fact, I'll tell you, that's one of the reasons that Apple doesn't want to approve our app, because they said, you're just an advertisement. That's all you are. And I said, no, we haven't raised enough money yet to have everybody build profiles. So my profile is the only one that can post, but that's not long term. By the end of it, it'll be like Facebook where anybody can post. There will be filters for what you can post to make sure that people are not posting, kitty cat pictures or their breakfast or whatever. We're trying to get away from the noise of social media and make sure that all posts are applicable and helpful to the industry. So you'll be able to choose, is it a prayer request? Is it a location need? Is it a casting related post? Is it a distribution notice? Is it a call for, are you giving away theater tickets? So there will be very structured categories that you can choose to post through. Then if an investor wants to log in quietly and say, I wonder what films are funding right now, then you could choose for your post, hey, we're fundraising for our film, Forever Sky Part 2. Then an investor could quietly go in, because you'll never know. You'll never know who the investors are. I promise you that. Everyone goes, where do I find them? I'm like, they do not tell their names. And there's good reason, because everyone would go to them. But then an investor could quietly go select, I want to see just the fundraiser posts, and then they can just pray over all of those and ask God to lead. But then everybody who's fundraising for filming can all appear in one search. And of course, that's whoever uses it, right? But I really hope that people will utilize it. And then folks like us who maybe can't always give, we could click on that link and just pray through all of them, or maybe give $1 to each just to encourage. I don't know. I don't know what God has in store, but the cool thing is you can now go, oh, that's what I was going to tell you. So the Apple Store says, well, you just are advertising external sites. Apple wants you to do everything within the app, right? So they're like, well, this link takes you outside the app. Well, this link takes you outside the app. Well, this link also takes you outside the app. And I thought, well, for sure it does, because I want to show people where to go. I'm giving them a roadmap to go here, go here. You want a casting? Go to this one. Hey, this casting's on Backstage. This casting is on Faith-Based Casting. This casting is over here on Facebook. So that's the only reason we're not approved yet for Apple, is because Apple loves to be self-glorified. And they think that if all attention is not on them and their app, and I'm taking you guys from the app off their app, they're like, we're not going to approve that. Whatever. So once we have that system built where you guys can build your profiles, you can interact with one another, you can submit to projects, then Apple says, well, when you get to that point, we'll approve it. I said, okay. They also want to make sure that they get their cut. This is just being completely honest and transparent. They want to make sure that we offer in-app purchases, because then Apple can take a cut. So you can see Apple's they're being stinkers, and that is the only reason we're not approved. They think it's a really good reason. So we'll just go with that. But for now, since I'm an advertising firm and I'm sending you all these links, click on them to go visit their Facebook page. See if they have reviews. See if any of your mutual friends on Facebook maybe have liked that film page, and ask them, hey, have you attended this festival? Go to their website, look through past awards that they've given. You might recognize some friends' names. Look at when their next festival is. All those websites are there for you. And the information is all current as of about 2 weeks ago. So if you guys ever find something, a link that's broken, or maybe outdated dates, or maybe I have to be announced and they've announced the dates, please do help me out and shoot me a message. Say, hey, Laura, I just noticed that so Jan had actually asked about film festivals in Canada. I'm so glad you asked, because yes, one of my favorites is the Canadian International Faith and Family Film Festival. And you will see that one on the app, Jan. So go to film festivals and scroll down. It's the only one. It is the only one in Canada right now. Yes. So the current Apple workaround, Wendy, is to go to christiancasting.com and download. If you click the download links the first time, it's going to install on your device an app called Test Flight, which allows you to operate on unreleased apps. And so then you'll go back to christiancasting.com. And then once you follow those links, it will actually take Room 4 and drop it into your list of available apps to test. Now, if you guys get a message, I've gotten some panicked message from folks, your beta version has expired. It's not scary. It just means that a certain amount of days has passed. So you just go to the website and drop it on your phone again, and it'll give you the latest version. Typically that will mean that there's been an update to fix some bugs. And exciting. I'm not here just to talk about the app, but it is really cool. And the film festival info is there, and I promise you, you will not find that list of information anywhere else, because I looked everywhere first. So the link did not seem to work. Jan, thank you for letting me know, because I just updated that, so I will check that. Yeah, his name is Jason Barbeck, the man who runs that. And so excellent festival. I have spoken there a couple of times. Okay, let me make sure that there are not any questions. Okay, not yet. All right, so how do you attend? Go buy a ticket. It's that easy. Nobody screens you to make sure you're involved in the film industry. Nobody says, yeah, but do you have any awards yet? Like literally, if you wanted to purchase a ticket, I could put one in my chicken's name and nobody would ask me any questions. Now, if I showed up with my chicken, that would be a different story, which I would not do. But anybody can attend. Now, where to stay? And I'm just kind of wrapping all this up as quick as I can in case you guys have questions. I suggest highly, there will always be links to well, not always, most of the time, a festival will make arrangements with local hotels that if you stay at a particular number of hotels, then you will get a discount just for attending the festival. Typically, you will either need a coupon code, or more often, you actually have to book through the link that is listed on that film festival's website. I'll give you an example. The Christian Worldview Film Festival. Right now, my favorite festival, and I wouldn't miss it for anything. It is in Georgia, Albany, Georgia. The Kendrick brothers, it's kind of their film festival. It's actually at Sherwood Baptist Church with the Kendrick brothers. And so their website will say participating hotels, and you do have to click on the link through that website to get the discount code. Now, if you are not traveling by yourself, or even if you are, yes, Sherry, and I will cover that. So if you are wanting to travel with a couple of friends, I would suggest, now you can certainly book a hotel room, absolutely, or look for local Airbnbs. I have found an incredible amount of Airbnbs right around the festivals where I work. And then it gives me a kitchen to cook in because I need to save money when I go. So my tips to you are always going to be how to save the most money. Get an Airbnb, find a couple of friends who are going, guys with guys, girls with girls, the old fashioned youth pastor motto, but if you are able to get a couple of friends and then you split the cost of an Airbnb, I'm usually able to find one for about $120 a night. That's what I would normally pay to cram me and 7 to 8 children into one room. And I've done that because I can't afford 2 rooms, and I have no kitchen. I have I have 1 bathroom. It is absolutely insane when I realized I could do an Airbnb and have an entire home for my kids. It was life-changing. I also went to a festival once where I was in a house, an Airbnb, with about 4 other people. And it was brilliant because each of us had our own rooms. I stayed in one room with my kids. They had each of their own rooms, and we all paid just a fraction of what it would have been. So that was just an incredible, life-changing thing for me. And so we actually got our hotel or our Airbnb for this upcoming festival, Christian Worldview, and it's 0.3 miles away from the church. So 3-bedroom house. Like I couldn't get any better than that. And for the same cost as a hotel room. So something to look into. Let me finish up with these other questions. Where to stay? Oh, and how did it get discounts? Okay, now say you're traveling alone and you don't have children to manage, or maybe you just have older kids. Volunteer. You guys, almost every single festival that you would ever want to go to allows volunteers to come for free. So if you are part of the volunteer team, the trade-off is that you will be given a schedule for what events you're supposed to volunteer at, which, you might be in a screening room running the videos for that particular screening room. They may have you working the merch table for t-shirts. You might be working security. You might be checking people in at the registration table for a certain amount of hours each day. And once you get your volunteer hours taken care of, then you are free to attend the rest of the day. Another perk is most of the time film festivals will give you really cool volunteer shirts. So you get a free ticket in and you get a free t-shirt that says staff or volunteer on it. And so that is just another really great way if you are strapped for money. Like, I don't think I could ever pay for the ticket, Laura, then look into their volunteer opportunities. Almost every single festival, and I've probably been to 6 different festivals all over the United States. Every single one has desperately needed volunteers, and a couple of them have even put volunteers up in an Airbnb. So there was no cost for lodging, there was no cost for the festival, and all I had to pay for was my food for the week. So lots of money saving, amazing money saving options. Now, Sherry asked a great question. So that's kind of all I have. And if, oh, I'm sorry, early bird as well. This is another discount. If you want to attend a festival and you know, hey, this one, I live outside of Dallas, so I'm just telling you the content media conferences, that's going to be my festival because it's close to home. Always, always look at the date for when the festival is happening, and several months in advance, find out when they do the early bird, because almost all festivals have early bird pricing, and it may go up a little bit, it may go up a lot as it gets closer to the festival. So early bird pricing is another way to get one of those discounts. So, so Sherry had asked, oh, maybe you could go to a festival. Oh, Jerry, I almost read that out loud. I think I might. Jerry just messaged me. He said, maybe I could go to a festival and be a grandfather babysitter for you. Jerry, bring it, because I'm going to be at the Christian Worldview Film Festival with 7 out of 8 of my kids. 7 of them, unless maybe one doesn't come. You know which one? The oldest one out of the 7, because he's like, well, Mom, I might have a job. I was like, how about not? How about I'll give you a job? How about you come with me? Because I still have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and a, you know, he's like, yeah, I think I'll be working, Mom. So we'll see if I show up with 7 or 6. That is yet to be determined. And my 17-year-old loves to volunteer. He loves to volunteer. So let me just cover that quickly. If you think, well, I don't really think I want to be working, man, if you want to get in with people and know the core teams behind these festivals, you are not going to miss out on networking because you volunteered. I promise you. Also, if you're working registration, you are literally conversing with every single person that is coming to that table to sign in. If you're selling t-shirts, you get a chance to talk with every single person that wants a t-shirt. So look at it as every sort of brilliant way of networking is possible. And I promise with that perspective, you would have an amazing opportunity and an amazing experience volunteering. Now, will you possibly miss a seminar that you meant to get to? Yes. But if it meant that you attended for free and you can do everything else that you wanted to, it's an amazing trade-off. Now, in your meantime, if you go and, oh yes, so Rhonda said Christian Worldview is March 13 to 17, festival is 15 to 17, but if you attend the Guild as well, it's 13 to 15. Yes, if you go to Christian Worldview, I love the Guild and I would never miss it. So if you guys have questions on that, go ahead and go to the website. It's pretty self-explanatory on the website, but the Guild is a super intensive first 3 days of the festival. They don't really screen anything. It's just workshops. It's just networking, and it's a lot more relaxed as far as the atmosphere goes and the networking goes. Then once the film festival kicks in on Wednesday night, it's like, you know, not 0 to 80, but I would say 40 to 80. And then all of a sudden you're just going, you know, then you're like, oh my goodness, okay, there's 14 films showing at the same time that I wanted to see. And then your friend is like, hey, did you see my film is playing in A7? You need to go watch it. And you're like, oh, but I was going to go to this workshop where this, you know, I wanted to go meet this casting director. And so you're going all these different directions. Get the schedule ahead of time and mark down where you want to be, what you want to go to. And sometimes the Guild, I just love the Guild because the pace is so much slower, and I feel like the relationship building is so much more at ease during the Guild. Now, sometimes people will say it's only the serious filmmakers. Well, I break that mold because I love to be there. And I'm not a serious filmmaker. So anybody who tells you that, go, no, because Laura goes and she's not. She even goes with her kids. So yes, Jerry. So on the on the Room 4 app, if you have it, there is a list, and I'll show you one more time. If you go to, so this is the home screen, right? We're on the home screen. If you go to the bottom and click this middle button called resources, then it is the third one down, Christian Film Festivals. And it is just every single festival all over the world, Christian-based film festivals. Okay, so Sherry had asked, when you were there, do you have tips for how to network and make connections with filmmakers? Yes. First of all, go prepared. Go prepared for those opportunities. Have business cards or something. Okay. Don't bring 8x10 headshots and resumes. And here's why. It's not because they don't want them. It's because it's awkward for them at that time. They've probably got a notebook. They're taking notes as well. You want to be super respectful of their intention for being there. They are probably there because they have a film there. So if you have a specific filmmaker you want to talk with or connect with, research their films, and especially try to find out if their film is playing, because you're going to want to arm yourself with that knowledge and then be able to intelligently discuss with them why you're so excited about their passion project. That is always a really great talking point, is let them know what they do that you really appreciate. And they're going to know that you are not just a desperate, hopeful actor who, just wants your big break. They're going to go, hey, that person took time to care about what I'm doing. And it just sets the tone for the conversation in a very, very different way. So if you, like I was saying with Donna, sometimes it's just being in the hallways. And I will tell you what, the last festival, I have this teeny tiny nursing child. He's about a year old. And I'm sitting on the couch and I'm literally praying. I'm like, Lord, I know that you wanted me here at this festival and I can't even go to a workshop. I'm sitting on this couch. I'm like, Lord, if I get to talk to anybody, you're going to have to bring them right to me. You have to, because I can't. Like, I'm here. I did, Lord, what I thought you wanted me to do. I packed all my diapers. I packed all of my school, for my homeschoolers. I packed everything and I came, and Lord, all I'm doing is sitting here in the hallway. When I prayed, Lord, would you still help me meet the people I was supposed to meet? Do you know how many incredible folks happened to be coming down the hallway and were just exhausted, and they sat on the couch next to where I was sitting, and these conversations happened, and they were beautiful and they were amazing. They were God ordained because I had done the work to get there. I had prayed within my own circumstances, Lord, please let this happen the way you would want it to happen. And he did. So when I say let him lead you, it's not a cliche thing to say. I mean, I literally, like, that is how I survive this industry with a bunch of kids and with a lot of demands on me, is I really just, I let the Lord know that I know I can't do this on my own. And so, Jan, you were asking about business cards, I think, and I would just type into Google. Google's going to be awesome because you may have a different flair for business cards, and there's not one professional industry standard. I'll tell you, there were cards left out at the last film festival. Some of them I picked up just because I thought they were cool looking. I didn't know the person. I just went to the table where they were all laying out, and I thought, you know what, if they took the time to set a business card there, I want to know more about them. And not everybody does that, but that's just my personality. That's my heart. And so I would pick them up, and some of them were square. Some of them were circles. Some of them were super shiny. Some of them had rounded corners. Some of them had a photo on them. Some of them had QR codes where it took you to the actor's website or the filmmaker's page. So all kinds of different sites. So Jan, I would say just go into Google and type in actor business cards, and you're going to see things night to day different, but something is going to catch your eye and you're going to go, that represents me well. And that's how I want people, like, I would be proud to give somebody that particular card. And so I think that might be a really great start. See what resonates with you. Okay, so Susan said, yes, actors, be sure to include a headshot on your business card, because it's silly not to. And here's the beautiful thing about that. If they have talked with you, they're probably going to remember your face far longer than they'll remember your name, way far longer. And if they have a stack of business cards, they're going to go, oh man, was it Susie or Sam or Sally? Man, I don't remember. And they're just not going to remember. And if it's a bunch of blank business cards, no photos, they may not spend too much time trying to remember who you were. If you have a photo on there, then they go, oh, that's who I was talking to. That, yes. Okay. Oh, good. And their email is on here. Great. I wanted to get in touch with them. Make it make it as wonderfully easy to get a hold of you as possible. And then, of course, make the best impression possible, because you have one chance to meet them. If you're going to hand them that card, you want to make sure that you have poured life into them, right? The Lord says that our words either lift up or tear down. There is the power of life and death is in the tongue. And we are not doing this. We're not doing this selfishly for the sake of what can I get out of it. I really believe that we reap what we sow. And if you want opportunities given, then why not give opportunities? Like, that is just Bible mentality. If the Lord tells me that I am supposed to do unto others as I would have them do unto me, I would love for somebody to think of me for an opportunity or to appreciate a project that I worked on. So that's why I study up, and I'll say, I want to make sure that I thank this person, even if I'm standing in line for 20 minutes, just to say, okay, so the Kendrick brothers, for example, I love their films. I know some people do, some people don't. I love them. I'm a family girl, and they resonate well with my family. And so I remember I specifically just wanted to tell the Kendricks that what one of their films had done for my family. And so I waited in line forever. I just shared it quick. I said, that's all I have. And then I remember Alex Kendrick was like, hey, can I pray with you? And I was like, yes. And so we just took a moment. And then at the last festival, actually, we knew God wanted us there. We knew. And Satan wanted to do everything possible. I say this to say, prepare for spiritual warfare. Okay. If God is calling you to this festival, you guys, if we believe that there is a God and we believe that there is an enemy, then those two are at odds all the time. And if we are not fighting against, then we are probably not doing something right, because we should feel that battle every day. And that's an awesome thing. Paul felt it every day. And so I knew I was supposed to be there at that festival. In my one son's life, my 17-year-old, things completely unraveled more than a mom could ever fathom or endure them unraveling. And this was weeks before the festival. And all I could think is, Lord, he needs to be there. I need to be there. What is going on? How can I even go? But how can I not, especially with this warfare happening? How can I not be there? And so my husband said, Laura, God wants all of you there. You just keep on, sights set on that festival, and you push through no matter what. And we did. And my son actually had to take a plane and fly down to Atlanta to meet us down there the night before, about 11 p.m. so that we could drive in the next morning. And I was driving from Maryland. So all things came together, and he was coming off the worst 2 weeks of his life. Long story. And they ended up doing baptisms at the festival last year, just very organically. Somebody had just asked, hey, we're in a church this year. What could I do to be baptized? And they're like, we're going to do it. And my son goes, Mom, I really need to start life over. I need to. Would you mind if I got baptized? When I did, I was too little. I was too little to even care or know what I was doing, but I know now that I need a fresh start in my life. And so Stephen Kendrick actually got to baptize my son. And there's nothing, I love the Kendricks, but they would be the first to tell you there is nothing especially special about them in the kingdom. And I love this festival because they walk around and talk to everybody, like we're all somebody's in the kingdom. And so that is part of what I love about Christian worldview. But I also share that story just to let you know that you don't have any idea why the Lord might be pulling you to a film festival. You have no clue. So if he's compelling you, do your best to walk in obedience, because it might not have anything to do with your acting journey or your writing journey or your voiceover journey or your director journey. But if the Lord says, hey, you need to be there, just say, I'm ready. I'm ready, Lord, whatever that means. So let me see if I didn't get a redeem code. Okay, you actually do not need a redeem code, Jean. So you'll go back to the website, christiancasting.com. And once you follow those prompts again, it should automatically load in there. I know it asks for it. See why Apple are boogers? I'm just not a big fan right now. Okay. Do distributors attend? Yes, Reba, they do. They do. And there are different distributors at every single one. A lot of times, several of them will come because they're looking for new films. They want to be there because they want to catch, if they love your film, they want to catch it before somebody else signs it. So for example, PureFlix, I was chatting with them at the last festival, and they were talking about some of the films. Oh man, we have got to talk to that filmmaker. We have got to see if we can get that one. You know why? Because if they don't get it, somebody else is going to get it, right? So there is a competition there for distributors because they want to see what's up and coming, and they want to see the awards show too. They want to know who's taken home every single award, and they go, yes, that will do very well on our channel. Thank you very much. And so then those contracts are often presented either at the film festival or shortly after. So let me take a breath real quick. I'm not always good at that. So let me take a breath and see if you guys have any questions. I'm just trying to pack in, 7 years of going to film festivals and things I've learned and just cool things God has done, and trying to dump those into you guys in less than an hour. So forgive me for the rambling, but do you guys have any specific questions? And at this point, it's just all going to be Q&A, whatever you guys have for me, and I will do my best to answer. Oh goodness, not everybody at once. Was I that thorough, or Wendy, go.
I do have a question. So if you've explained really well how to do all of the stuff once we get there, do you have suggestions for saving on transportation or carpooling, or how to actually physically get there cheap?
Okay, sure. So start with, and that might be start with the ones closest to you or closest to family members. Consider that too. When you go through that list, go, oh, wait, I have a college friend who lives in Dallas. Might be time to look her up again, or, hey, I forgot Uncle Joe lives in Atlanta. I wonder if I could stay with them, see Aunt Betty and Uncle Joe, and then, hop on over to the festival. Always look at the resources that God has given you specifically. If you have a relative who gets lots of airline miles, or maybe they get huge perks on rental cars. Unfortunately, some things just are pricey that we need to save up for. I'll tell you, this year and last year, man, just to get my crew there in tickets was like $1,200. Now, don't let that scare you, because remember, I have like 23 children. I increase the number every time just because slowly I'm having that many. See, Jerry's ready. He's so ready to babysit. But it cost me a lot. But God made it happen. And I don't know how. I don't have that money. I really, truly do not. But I was walking in obedience, and sometimes it's as simple as somebody goes, Laura, I don't know why, but God laid you on my heart and I'm supposed to send you money. And that doesn't always happen. Sometimes I'm able to sell something that's been sitting on Facebook Marketplace for, 8 months, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, somebody's like, hey, do you still have that grass seed spreader? I was like, yeah, the one that I posted 6 months ago. Sure do. It's still under my porch. And so literally somebody 2 weeks ago bought a grass spreader that I posted last summer. God knows our needs. He knows the seasons that we're in. And yes, that money helped go toward my Airbnb. I paid half now. I'm going to pay the other half later. And so I was able to do with Airbnb, you usually can do half as a deposit and check whether or not there are refunds, because and also you can buy travel insurance, I think it is, on Airbnb. That might not be the official term, but there is like a money back guarantee if you have an emergency and you have to cancel last minute. Other ones, y'all read those contracts. Be very, very fair. A lot of people like to say, oh, scam. Not necessarily. Sometimes we just don't do our homework. Sometimes we don't thoroughly read the user agreement, right? So when you're on Airbnb, check and see if there are cleaning fees, check and see if you have a cancellation fee. Some of them will let you cancel up to 7 days before. Well, you're in much better shape to know whether or not you'll be there 7 days before than you might be 7 months in advance. But if you book 7 months in advance, you can often get it cheaper, because the closer to the festival, more and more folks are going to book. So sure, Reba, my contact email is laura@christiancasting.com. Just lowercase LAURA @christiancasting.com. And so Wendy, I would say get on, and this is going to be another thing that's really cool about the Room 4 app, is we are going to have rooms that basically are like Facebook groups where you can go to a particular room, and we might have a discussion just for the Christian Worldview Film Festival. And it might be ride shares or Airbnb buddies, or it's anybody carpooling from North Carolina. Like, those are awesome, except we're not, again, back to the whole body of Christ analogy, we're not connected enough to be able to work together. and have no lack. Instead, we're all working separately and everybody has lack because we can't share what we have because nobody knows who has what. And we can't offer what we have to anybody else and they can't offer it to us. So I just am a firm believer that the body of Christ in the film industry needs to be united like never before, especially as the world gets crazier all around us all the time. And people are so desperate for life-giving material. This media is a mission field. And I really consider us media missionaries. Media is one of Satan's most powerful tools right now. And if we can get in there and change the dynamic, change the narrative, influence and shine lights where there wasn't light before, that's our job. And media is probably the most powerful and effective tool right now that we have to reach folks. You can get people who will never crack open a Bible, but if they know you were in a film, they go, oh, yeah, I'll watch it. You know, they will never step foot in the door of a church, but they'll check out a short film. So we have a lot of responsibility to be found faithful in this. So are you going to be able to post reels or clips in your profiles on Room 4? You absolutely will. Yes, when I went to the production team, the development team early on, when I first explained everything that I wanted to be able to do, they said, Laura, you want to build a whole virtual world. And I said, yes. Is that okay? And they're like, yeah, but that's going to be a big task. And I said, well, I mean, if you guys aren't up to it, and they're like, no, we are. And so, and again, you know, those people who are now building it, I met at a film festival because I knew that God wanted me there. And he actually pointed them out to me during the award ceremony. And it was like them. That's who I want to have you produce the app. Now, God does not speak audibly to me, but it's that, you know, that sense in my spirit when I feel like he's whispering those things. And they were winning award after award, but it wasn't just that their films were winning awards. It's that their films were so salvation oriented. They were so missions minded. These folks work with the Voice of the Martyrs all the time. You guys might know Voice of the Martyrs, as started by Richard Wurmbrand, Tortured for Christ. They actually created the Tortured for Christ film, followed up by Richard Wurmbrand's wife, Sabina, her story, Sabina, the Nazi Years. So two people who now, you know, are the heartbeat behind the Voice of the Martyrs all around the world. Those are the projects that were important to them. And so in all my boldness, right, I walk up with my stroller. And I'm telling you guys this because, listen, if you are not pushing a stroller up to a filmmaker and you just look all professional with your business cards, you'll be like, woohoo, at least I'm not like Laura having to carry a diaper bag on my back while I'm trying to talk to a casting director. You're going to feel so free. I love that. I can give you that. But I walked up to them and I said, look, I have something I would love to talk to you guys about. I would like to maybe have you build an app. And so Judy actually said to me, well, can you follow us back to Michigan? We're in Georgia. Can you follow us back to Michigan and meet in our office next week? We're hitting the road for like 6 weeks after that. But if you have time, then just follow us back home. I literally followed them home. I mean, not followed, you know, they left at a different time than I left. But the next day we all met up in their office, and then God began the proceedings to map out what would become the Room 4 app. And Room 4 is actually named after a scene in the movie Tortured for Christ. So it was all of these things working behind the scenes. I got to see the film. I got to meet them. I got to see the awards show, and God is working in all of that. And so I hope that some of these stories inspire you that anything can happen over there. And it is just, we want to be where God calls us to be. And if he says, hey, no, not this time, then I'm going to tell you that wherever you need to be at home is just as important as if you had been at that festival. And if you are ever devastated because you wanted to go and you just couldn't, I want to promise you that if you are asking the Lord to lead you, that he is. And there might be somebody who you run into in the bank who needs a word of life spoken into them, a touch of Jesus. And without you in that moment, their life could have been radically different. I don't underestimate the fact that we are supposed to be missionaries on and offset. It isn't just when we're making movies. We are God's soldiers. We are his people, his children, his light bearers every day of our lives, every business that we walk into, whether it has anything to do with our passions or not. And so keep that in mind. Yes, it's a great thing to strive for. Yes, it's a cool thing to go. Yes, God has sometimes told me, no, Laura, you got to sit this one out. And sometimes I find out why, and sometimes I don't, but he's the boss. So All right, let me see. Yes, yes, Jerry, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Yes, absolutely. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. And all your heart, I used to just quote that verse, right? And I didn't realize what all your heart means. Like it means like he wants every single bit of it. And sometimes we're like, well, you can have all of this, Lord, except I'm going to hang on here. And it means you have let go of everything. And that means whether or not you wanted to be in that movie, whether or not you wanted to go to that film festival, whether or not you wanted to be signed by that agent. He's like, do you trust me with all your heart? All your heart. Because if you, in all your ways, every single one, acknowledge me, then I'll direct your path. And I actually posted a meme from another actor. Well, it wasn't a meme, it was a scripture verse, and it was some of the verses of Paul. And somebody had highlighted all of the blessing, blessing, blessing parts. I think some of you guys saw that in Christian Casting Community today. And the only part of the verse they didn't underline was, and I will honor you. This was Paul's prayer to the Lord, and I will honor you. And then it's like, and you will pour upon me blessings, and you will pour your hand of favor, and you will this. But the only part that the person had not underlined was, and I will honor you. And I said, that's the most important part. Like that is the hinge upon which all these blessings are attached. So keep that in mind as you're planning, but know that he longs to give you the desires of your heart. Here's another one we misquote. Is he going to give you what your heart has already desired, or is he going to give you what your heart should desire and then meet those needs? I tend to vote for number 2, that if we say, Lord, give me the desires that you want me to have, then he can fulfill those. And so I tend to take that approach to those scriptures. So, okay, silly question, not a silly question, Desiree. So dress code is, I would say, for lack of a better term, kind of New York professional, right? So you want to represent yourself well as an actor. You will see people there in sweatpants. I wouldn't want to be there in sweatpants just because that's not how I want people to know me. You do want to bring a nicer outfit for the award ceremony. Some people dress, as the saying goes, to the nines for the award ceremony that night. Other people just wear jeans and a sweater, or, jeans and a blazer. So you do you, but I would encourage you to do your best you. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure that it is the best reflection of you that you can offer. And if you're somebody that works out all the time and you want to wear your, Adidas shoes and stuff, I don't know. How do you want to present yourself? And you'll see people presenting in all different ways. But if you look up, like New York professional, it can be comfortable, but professional comfortable. And good shoes. Y'all, ladies, don't bring your high heels. That's really fancy, but you are going to be walking. Also bring your step counter, okay? Your little Fitbit. You are going to be walking miles a day within that festival. So do not be impressing anybody with your fancy shoes. I would definitely find a really good pair, or have your comfortable pair in your backpack, and you'll thank me later when you change halfway through the day. You'll be glad you had those. All right, so be yourself, but classy. Yes, Sarita, very, very good. She said, for me, I would go all out and show it. Yes, because why not? If a filmmaker is going to look at you as an actress, make them go, wow, okay, I can see that person being on set with me. I can see myself working with this writer. I can see myself pulling that person in to direct my film. So present your best self. Foot insoles and slippers in case. Yes, and if you have to put the slippers on, you'll know who was wearing heels the first half of the day because they'll have slippers on too. Ballet flats, ladies. So Jerry, this doesn't apply to you. If you wear ballet flats when you come grandfather for my children, I might have to give you loafers instead. No ballet flats for you. So if we have, ballet flats, ladies, you can roll them up. You can get them real cheap. I would always, and even on set, always have a little pair of those, or something super comfy, but sleek and still professional looking. Oh my goodness, it's already 8 o'clock, y'all. Okay, does anybody else have any questions, comments, concerns? I don't want to keep you too long, but I do want you to feel really, really well informed.
Laura,
Yes,
I'm Jean Pope. Most people remember
ma'am.
the Pope if they don't remember anything else.
Sure.
I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you for doing this session, because it has been very, very, very informative. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I'm sure your schedule is like, woo,
It's a little crazy.
And to take the time to do this for us. I just want to say thank you.
Aw. Well, I'll remember your name is Jean. And you are so welcome. God has given me such a passion to help you guys out. And anytime somebody says something like that, my sort of auto response, but I mean it every time, is that it is an absolute joy to serve all of you, to be able to meet with God's creatives and to be able to pour anything into you that might help you, take that next step. It literally gives me life. And so I am honored to be able to have that opportunity, and that you would come and want to hear anything that's said that you think I might be able to help. So it is truly my joy.
You're awesome, Laura.
Glory to
Aw,
God.
thank you.
And that list, because when I went to the film festival several years back, it was so hard to find information on where to go. And I didn't know what festivals were, like bigger or better, or, any of that. I had no idea what they were like. So that list is amazing. Thank you.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad you like it. I was like, Lord, if I'm going to do the work of putting this all together, could it at least let me find some people who need it? So thank you for
Yes.
making the list. And then Jan, I will check the link on that Canadian Film Festival. So
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
you
This
are
has
welcome.
been amazing, Laura. This has absolutely been amazing.
Oh, thank
And-
you.
Oh, and I'm glad it's recorded. So there was so much information.
Yes.
I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of it. So I'll go back and listen to it again.
Okay. Well, as long as Zoom cooperates, that's always my disclaimer, because sometimes they just don't. But so far it's recording, and then I should hopefully have it up on the YouTube channel tonight or tomorrow.
Perfect. Thank you.
You are so welcome. All right. Any other questions? Aw, you're the best, Jerry. Thank you.
I have a quick question, Laura.
Yes, ma'am.
On our business cards that we give out at the festival,
Mhm.
we put both our agent contact and our personal contact on there. Because what if we switch agents later? Should we just put our personal contact?
That is something that might be listed in your contract with your agent. So I would talk to your agent first. If you are not convinced that you're going to stay with them very long, it's just not, some people who are assigned to an agent are like, this person literally would have to die before I would ever not be represented. And a lot of times, it's funny, but a lot of times people do have that relationship with their agent. Like, it is them for life, So if that's the case, then typically out of respect, you do always put your agent's phone number, because they like to be that sounding board for you. And then if you have other people contacting you around, then you have the possibility, and it does happen, where people will contact you instead of your agent and go, hey, well, would you I know you're SAG, but would you consider doing this deferred, or would you this? And then you're kind of caught deer in the headlights, because it makes you uncomfortable, because maybe you would have wanted to do it, but it would have been great if your agent could just say, no, I'm sorry, she doesn't do that. So when you have an agent, they are there to be that professional buffer and say, well, you know what, let me get back to you. Then you guys have your private conversation, and then they answer on your behalf. But if you think that you may not be with them for a while and your relationship is not that close knit, then you may want to put just your information, especially if it's a non-exclusive agent. I don't tend to agree with exclusive agencies. That just doesn't seem to me the best interest of the actor or the performer. If you find a great agent who's exclusive and you're totally convinced that that's where the Lord has you, then awesome. But exclusive means you can only do things through them and nobody else. And I just kind of question that method sometimes. So unless it's an exclusive contract, you probably would be able to put your own information, but you do run the risk of people connecting with you, outside the system or under the table. So I would have that discussion with your agent too.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
related to that really quickly, if you're represented in one area by one agent, like let's say I live in North Carolina, I have an agent here, but I'm at a Dallas Film Festival. That's not her area, and I don't have a rep in Dallas. What's the best way to handle that?
Well, it depends. So are you saying, like, if your agent was only local to the area that you're in,
Yes.
then talk to your agent and see if they would be willing, because really an agent dwells in the negotiations world. So if they're going to get a cut of it, whether you self-submitted by handing somebody a business card or not, I would think that your agent ought to be really glad to find a Southern accent within themselves and talk to that Dallas filmmaker, because there's no reason not to. And even though they consider this as a regional agent, look, if you've already done the work and you've made that connection, if they do the contract negotiations for you, then they get their cut still. So I would have that conversation with them and say, hey, I may travel not internationally. I may travel nationally. Would you be willing to be my representative? Oh, I think we just lost her, but for the sake of the replay, would you be willing to be my representative no matter where I go? And if they say no, then maybe start looking for an agent in that specific area where you'd like to attend festivals. So awesome. All right. Any other questions on that note or any other note?
I
Can
do
we
have
find
one
you on
question.
Instagram? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so bad on Instagram, you guys. I'm so bad. I'm so bad. Everybody's like, how do you do it all? I'm like, I don't.
Okay.
Instagram is one of my don'ts because I don't have time. If I get an assistant, if you guys ever see my Instagram beautiful and explosive in all kinds of cool ways, it means I found an assistant or I trained one of my children to do it because it was not me. So, okay. And then somebody else, Jan, was that you?
Yeah, it was me. Just one quick question, not so much about film festivals, but if you have an agent, but you have a audition for and get an audition for a role that the agent is not associated with at all, are they supposed to be informed?
Check your contract. Your specific contract will say. Jerry's nodding his head yes. I mean, some of them are like, hey, if you do the work, you keep the money. Others are very, very stingy. He's shaking his head yes. And they're like, oh, no, you're signed. So your money is my money, no matter who found the job. So check your particular contract on that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
just on that note, when you guys, if you do sign with an agent, two things. Number one, you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. Okay. Because they need talent. You need an agent, but they need talent. They are nobody if they don't have talent signed. So go in there with some confidence that it's a 50-50 thing. Okay. It's not like I'm the desperate actor. You're the beautiful, magical agent. It's not that. It is, will this relationship work? Because I'm a good 50% and you're the other 50%. And together we could do it. But you need me as much as I need you. That's my first thing. Second is read your contract. Do not do like we do in the App Store, right? Like, yes, I agree. Download my app, right? We don't read it because we don't want to. We don't want to take the time. I'm starting to read those things because they're starting to put some pretty scary things in there, like as far as, sharing information and things. But read your contracts. If you get a photography release from a film, if you have an audition request and they say words like in perpetuity, know what that means. Please, for the love of all things acting, know what that means. And if you see a word you don't understand, go look it up on Google, because the wording of those contracts, I deal with so many people who get super frustrated. And they're like, well, that's just not fair. I'm like, you signed the contract. I mean, that is what your contract says. They are doing everything legally. So just make sure that you understand well what the arrangement is. Oh, I think we had somebody else drop off. I know internet connections are kind of bad for some people tonight. So, all right. Well, I don't want to leave before everybody's questions get answered, but it looks like maybe there are no more questions. Anybody have an amazing film festival experience? Oh, Jerry, go ahead. Oh, no, he was waving. He's like, I'm out. Oh, sorry. Okay.
I got to go, but I'll see you Wednesday night. Bye-bye.
Okay. Sounds good, sir. All righty. Goodbye. All righty. Well, and if not, I don't want to keep you guys longer than I need you. Oh, Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that even though I went to that festival years ago, it is still producing fruit, mostly through your casting notices and faith-based casting. So it's like I was on a set this week here in Maryland. I didn't even know this production company was here. So I went to be on the set just to kind of see who they were. But that was through your, through the app.
Oh, how cool. That was Anthony Hackett, right? With Sunset Friday Entertainment.
Yeah.
I love Anthony and his team. They're so
I'm like, I don't know where they came from, but it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I met him years ago, actually, years ago. And so we've kept in touch since. Anytime somebody's anywhere near Maryland, I'm like, you got to go get in touch with this guy. So very cool. I'm glad you could be there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And anytime somebody says that they're using the app, I'm like, oh, this is why we're doing it. This is why. And it's just, to me, a glimpse of what it could be, you know?
Your vision for the app is amazing and I'm excited. So
Thank you.
I
Well,
love your
y'all
vision.
pray with us. I was like, could I do a 40-day fast? I don't know. I want to do like all these wild and crazy things, but I also want to keep saying, Lord, I know this is in your hands and it's in your timing, and you are the one who begins the work and you are the one who completes it. So I'm trying to not get too excited, but trying to keep people excited. And so just trying to find that balance in between. But you know, stories like that, Donna, you have no idea. When I get discouraged and nobody's commenting, and you know, I'm like, what, am I crazy? Am I crazy for doing this? This is not, nobody else is trying to do anything like this. And then somebody will say something like that, or, you know, people will go, hey, Laura, so I can't sign in to comment, but I tried. And then actually, so what Jerry said, he's like, see you next Wednesday. Well, he lives in California and I live in Maryland. We couldn't live further apart, but he's actually going to be a part of a table read. And that was cast entirely through Room 4.
I saw that. Mhm.
And so it's just cool watching these things happen, building these relationships. And then, you know, hearing about people excited to go to film festivals that they didn't even know were near them, but they could see it in a list. They're like, I had no idea. It's just really, really exciting to me. And I am nobody special. I'm like, you know, like on Tinker Toys where you have like the really cool, like the long rods, and I'm just that silly little wheel in the middle where like you get to connect all this stuff. And I'm like, just sitting here doing what I do. And it's so fun to watch and see, you know, like you have a stick off here and then it's this wild, crazy, amazing, beautiful thing over here. And I don't do anything special except I just sit here and go, hey, this is for you guys if you want to use it. And so when I see people using it, it's such an incredible encouragement to my heart. So thank you very much.
Yes.
All righty. Anybody else have anything pertinent to film festivals maybe that they want to share? Something I left out? Oh, Liza says, just getting off work. Yes, it's all in God's hands. Happy to be in the presence of this mindset and way of thinking. Awesome. Well, we are going to upload this to YouTube in case you're just joining us, because we are wrapping it up. We've been on for almost an hour and 15 minutes. And so this should be on our YouTube either tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to go check on my kiddos here in a bit, but as long as they're good, I'll get it up tonight. Otherwise, if you are subscribed, I'm not one of those like, share, subscribe. Like if you want to subscribe, I don't care. You know, if you don't want to, then don't. But if you do subscribe, then you're notified when the new videos come out, which is not very often, you'll find. So I'm trying to get better about putting this information out and then making it available to you guys. But you certainly will not be bothered by dings on your phone 3 times a day when I upload videos. You never have to worry about that for me. So. All righty. Awesome. Well, God bless you guys, truly. And oh, what's that? Sarita, did you want to say something?
Thank you, Laura May. No,
Oh,
that's great.
all
Yeah.
right. You're so welcome. Oh, and by the way, I get to be in class, not as a teacher. I get to be in a class with Sarita as a student. One of the courses that was on christiancasting.com/coaching. There's a young gal teaching an editing class. And so Sarita and I are actually taking that class together. I'm so excited about what we're learning because I cannot edit, but I'm hoping at the end of 8 weeks that I can. So yes, cool opportunities just everywhere you look. Don't ever feel like there's not room for you in this industry, because I promise you something somewhere is happening that you can plug into. I promise you. And if you need help finding that, then let me know and I will do my God-given best to help you find that community, because that's the other calling, is to help build community. We creatives are such a discourageable people sometimes. And so my heart is so much to encourage you guys and to speak life into you. Because if the God who called you to it didn't call you out, very rarely does he call us out. We call ourselves out and we're like, well, I haven't booked anything in 2 years. I haven't booked it. No. I should have never done this. And it has nothing to do with whether or not the Lord is asking us to let it go. It's all emotional because we don't feel like trying anymore. And so encouragement is a big part of my heart too. So I'm really, really glad to be able to give that to you guys. So awesome. Well, on that note, dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for each person who decided to spend this evening here. I ask that this information would just resonate in their hearts, that you would use it to guide them to the next step for them, whatever that might be. Give their spirit new excitement about this industry you have called them to, this incredibly impactful mission field, and just show them, Lord, where their place is. because I know that so many times I'm still praying that same thing. Lord, where's my place? I just want to be exactly where it is that you want me to be. So I would ask that for each one of them, if that is their heart's prayer, Lord, please just show me where and show me how. That you would answer that in a very unique way for them, and that you would begin right now setting things in motion that would help guide them to that next step you have for them, not to our ultimate destination, but to our next step. Because your word is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. It's not a beacon. It's not going to show us the whole thing, but it'll show us that next step. So we thank you for that. And we just praise you and say thank you for being who you are. And thank you for loving us enough to let us be used by you. And we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All righty. Well,
Thank you so much.
ladies, I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, but it's just the ladies. So ladies, have an incredible evening, and I look forward to next session, whatever that may be. So if you want to join us, awesome. And if you have ideas, message me on Facebook or email me. If you say, hey, we need a free Zoom on such and such, please send me a message and let me know. Laura@christiancasting.com.
Bye.
Good night, you guys.
Night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.